Morning all, how are we doing? How's everybody going? Morning Peter, Ladder, Doreen, Gulmani. Just taking a short on the DAX. We just had a nice bearish engulfing on 5 minute. It's pulling back up again now though. So I've just got a couple of positions on that. And a sell stop there to see if we can capture that downward move on the open. We've got a big gap to fill this morning, and we had a big push straight out the open. I did try a short here as well on this rejection, but it flew. So this is the first proper reversal sign we've had that it might want to come back down again. So just taking a short up there. See if we can gather a quick drop at the open. Morning Diamond. See if we can get that move. Just got the crickets on. I'll leave those out of the way for a minute until the market opens. Euro CAD. I got stopped out on a couple of positions yesterday on the Euro CAD. One sort of older one and the one that I took on Friday last week. I stopped out on those up at these highs because I didn't want to get any deeper into drawdown on this. We've just got a reversal alert this morning. I took another short yesterday just towards the end of New York last night, because we had a very big strong push up yesterday on this one. I think that was ADR yesterday. Yeah, it was about 125 ADR, 150 ADR maybe. So I took another short up there when we hit ADR. We've pushed up a little bit more this morning, so I've just put another short on when we got that reversal alert, but I've got stops again up at the highs. Euro's flying at the minute. So I've got that Euro CAD on, and I've got a Euro odd on short as well. Similar story on this one. I haven't taken any losses on this one yet. I've got three positions on short. Just taken one on this reversal alert this morning, and I've got a sell stop underneath the Asian lows. So if they take it short this morning in London, I'm going to add another position on to try and get back down and get out of some of this Euro. Morning back. It's a bit mental, this Euro at the minute. Yeah, all gone a bit crazy, Euro. It's not, Euro pound is sideways, Euro yen's sideways still. Euro, but it seems to be the Aussies and the CADs. We've got a bit of weakness on those at the minute, and the Euro's taking advantage of those. The Aussie Swiss as well. That short, so I took that initial short off. The second short, I've got a trailing stop running on this at the moment of about 300 and something, I think. 400. Might drop that a little bit, 350. Just check, I might have that on my other platform. 350. Bear with me a sec. Yes, I'm just going to trail this. So if the Aussie continues to push to drop, obviously my Euro trade will go into drawdown, as this one will go into profit. So they're kind of hedged against each other at the minute. It's just pushing up again at the open. I'm just going to adjust all my stops just to these highs. It's going to be about 1.5%. I don't want to take too much loss on it. If it isn't going to go for this gap fill, if it is going for the gap fill, obviously that will work out nicely. Morning, Vinod. Or Vinod. Don't know. Is it silent D? ADRs this morning, we've got New Zealand dollar yen. So We had a big, strong push down on that one this morning. We've pushed back up, hit ADR, and we're just coming off of ADR at the moment. So that's a nice looking short at the minute. Lots of buying coming in on the DAX and all indices this morning. We've got to get stopped out on that, I think. Doesn't seem to want to go down, does it, this morning? We are going into a bit of accumulation here, so hopefully these highs will hold and we'll just accumulate and drop from there at the open. We've got 1 minute to the open. 30 seconds. Yeah, so New Zealand dollar yen is the only ADR hit. That's hit to the upside. Obviously in a downtrend at the moment. So we've had one big strong push down, gone into an accumulation. Second leg is pushing down. So potentially a good looking short opportunity on that one there. Swiss yen I was in yesterday. I took that off. That was a long I took yesterday. And we got a big strong push down. So I got out of that one. So yeah, yen, interesting. God, there's a big strong push down there just at the open. Big dump came in just before the market opened there. Have a look at news in a second. Just want to see what happens at the open, whether or not we're going to reject these highs. And these highs seem to be holding fairly well for the last 20 minutes. So I'm just going to see if that is the final move of the morning before we get a dump. Not an awful lot of liquidity either way at the minute. I'm just closing one of those out. I just got a little bit too much risk on there. I don't like, it's not moving as fast as I'd like it to move at the open, so I'm just reducing the risk a little bit. Starting to pick up. Okay. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. So the euro at the open, not really doing anything dramatic at the minute. We'll head in the right direction though, down. So just going to third position on the DAX short. Rejecting a little bit of these lows. We're not getting a lot of selling coming in. It is selling, but not a lot. Morning, Stevie. So opening range at the moment is there. So on the DAX yesterday, we basically had a massive down day. So we got this gap fill done that I was looking for yesterday. So we obviously opened up there, played the gap fill filled perfectly. Then it sold off like crazy yesterday. Absolute mental sell-off. I was expecting a pushback up yesterday, but what we got was a massive sell-off. So we're now on 3 down days on the trot. I would expect today to try and recover some of this, ready for another leg down. But again, today it doesn't look like it wants to at the minute. It wants to sell off. We've pushed up. We've tapped into the lows of the previous day and rejected up here. And obviously now we seem to be selling off at the open. So if we get another red day, that's going to be the first time for quite a while we've had more than 3 down days on the trot. So yeah, I mean three down days really is all we stomach, and then we get a pullback. We had one there where that was kind of a big rejection as well, so that is fairly bullish. But yeah, so we should be expecting a bit of a push up at some point today, but obviously that's why I was kind of being a bit careful at the open, because I'm half expecting it to actually want to get up and correct some of this, but we'll see. A few buyers starting to come in on the Nasdaq. Yeah, I'm going to close that. I don't like it. It feels bullish to me. I just don't like this daily chart. And I don't like the fact that we've done such a big move at the open as well. It's really annoying. I still think we're probably going to get this gap fill, but I'm just worried about getting a rally today. This is a massive sell-off. There'll be a lot of people looking to buy up down here because a lot of this stock is going to be cheap. Might leave that for this morning. For the minute. Might regret that, because it's gonna, if it comes down and does this gap fill, it's going to be very annoying, but it'll go without me. What I might do actually is put a little sell stop under the low of this, go for the opening range breakout. Actually not with that. What is the opening range? 700. So I'm going to go with 2 sells, 1% risk, and go for the gap fill. Had a little bit too much risk on that one. If we just push up now, obviously I'm not going to get gathered into these, so I don't mind, but there's no selling coming in. We've been buying all morning, there's no selling. I'll leave that for a minute. We'll come back to the DAX. It's not really going anywhere at the moment. So looking at news this morning, we've got nothing again today. We got Waller and Mester speaking at 6 and 8 o'clock this evening. Apart from that, no news. So again, no news day. Market's free to go wherever it wants. No big news events to manipulate anything. Tomorrow we've got Lagarde speaking in the morning, and then tomorrow we've got CPI. So CPI is the main event of the week, and then we've got PPI on Thursday along with the pound GDP, which can or can't move the market. It's really hit and miss GDP figures. GDP figures are all expected and known. They don't usually come out far off. They're very good at forecasting GDP figures. So you don't tend to get a lot of deviation on GDP most of the time. It's within, a couple of, you can see here, it's usually within a couple of percentile, 1%, that one's spot on. That was 0.1. That was 0.5%. But that was a big change in GDP, like 16% down to 0.5%. So, but normally when it's not much change in GDP, it's pretty spot on. So it doesn't tend to move the market, which is why quite often you'll find these are orange news rather than red, because they're usually fairly expected and predictable. But occasionally you do get the odd one that throws a spanner in the works. So again, no news today. Tomorrow, CPI and PPI day after that, and then Friday we've got nothing either. So it's a really crap week this week for news. So it's literally just a case of letting the market go where the market wants to go, and trying to find support and resistance levels to take trades at the minute. So just gathered into one short on the DAX. Little bit of selling starting to flood in now. Second short. Didn't get the opening range break. Now we have. It's not very convincing there, is it? See if we can get some momentum going. I'm not going to add any more to this. This is about 2.5% or so down there. If we get the gap fill, so that'll be enough. Don't want to put any too much risk on. Right, that seems to be underway now. So let's go have a look at what else is going on. So yeah, ADR's nothing. Pound odd hit its weekly range yesterday. This Australian dollar weakness was quite dramatic. So pound odd, we got a big move yesterday. We've hit the weekly range on that now, and surpassed it fairly convincingly. Lovely reversal on M15 this morning, and we've started to come back down again. So very decent reversal there. Although not sure what's going to happen with this Australian dollar. I've got the Aussie dollar long and short on at the moment, along with the euro and the Aussie dollar Swiss. So basically just waiting to see what happens with this one, but nice potential reversal opportunity there. We are short on the pound, but if you look at the pound odd, it's one of those sideways pairs at the minute. We've been sideways on this for ages, so we got the big drop off and the approach to the conflict, and then we dropped, and we've been sideways ever since. So we're going into kind of an expanded range at the moment on this, but this area of accumulation that I identified on the chart is holding up very nicely. So this is a good looking short opportunity here. You've missed the entry this morning if you're not already in on it on M15. It doesn't look like it wants to retest at the moment, but potentially it could come back up and try and retest this area here, this propulsion gap after the accumulation, and then drop again from there. So nice looking short opportunity on the pound odd. I've got euro odd on already, and euro odd, as you can see, is virtually the same thing. So I'm already short on that trade, basically on the euro version rather than the pound version, because I'm expecting the euro and the pound to do pretty much the same thing. So so yeah, that's looking pretty nice for a short. If you get a retest on it, you're about to get an hourly on it as well, on the pound odd, same as euro odd obviously, and it's this area here. Just extend this across a bit further. So it's that area there that we are basically looking for resistance at. Lovely hammer shooting star at the top, and again slightly lower high, and obviously market structures putting in lower lows. Potential for a very big drop on this, but we need a bit of Aussie dollar strength to start to show through, and as I say, there's no news on anything. In fact, when is the next news on pound? We've got CPI figures next Wednesday, and we've got unemployment next Thursday for the Aussie. So yeah, nothing to drive it. So we're reliant basically on the market sort of just pushing basically as and when it can. So that's extended. On the monthlies, we've got a few monthly extensions, mainly on these euros, which obviously I've got the shorts on already. So yeah, all pretty good there. On the euros, which program am I using to make these drawings on MT5? This is MT4 for a start, not MT5. This is Epic Pen. It's called Epic Pen. Go and Google it, and it just allows you to draw on your screen. You can draw anywhere on your screen, and then just obviously rub it off and change the pen size, and do all sorts of stuff with it. So that's your ADR and your weekly range potential targets. So the pound odd, I think obviously the fact that we're in a range, we want to be targeting the last reversal alert as kind of first stop, second stop there, third stop, putting in, continuation of market structure. So somewhere below here. Nicely extended on the hourly as well. So looking good for short entry. Pound odd. Right, so let's look at the RSIs. EuroCAD. Obviously, I'm in EuroCAD already, so very nicely extended on the hourly. We got extended here on the hourly as we took out these highs from this accumulation. We just pulled back straight into support, bounced off of that and shot off yesterday. So yesterday was a very, very, very big day for the euro. So take an additional position up here, as I said, but I am going to stop out on this if we get too far above the Asian highs today. If they come up and take out the Asian highs and then you see signs of reversal up there, that'd be absolutely spot on. Be nice to see if we can get a stop hunt at the highs. That's kind of worst case scenario for me. If we go past that, I'm out. But I'm adding on again. If we break down today, I'm going to add another position onto this because I still think the euro is a short. But just to say, I'm waiting for the CAD to power up a little bit, which it isn't at the moment. A bit of buying starting to show through on the indices. We didn't get the opening range break, annoyingly. So there's our opening range low. It's held to the pip. So we butted into it, pushed through, rejected. Now we're pushing back up again. So potentially this is, as I say, looking for a long. This is what I'm worried about today. It's one of those horrible days where you've got a conflict, you've got a gap fill, which we know get filled a lot most of the time. But also on the daily, we've got the likelihood of an up day because we've had so much selling. There's a lot of stock which is cheap, which is going to get bought up today. So it's a really difficult one today. We have had a fairly decent move up though already, and this is a fair old push pre-market. But we'll see. Right. So RSIs on the hourly, there's only the one, the EuroCAD. 4 hourly, it's a Christmas tree at the moment. There's an awful lot of it. So we'll whiz through all of these on the 4 hours, which is pretty much covering every pair. We did cover all the pairs yesterday anyway, but obviously today there is an awful lot more. So start at the top, Aussie dollar CAD. We just about got extended on the 4 hour down there, and obviously that's pushed up again. So bit of Aussie dollar strength starting to show through, but we have just pulled up into the reversal rectangle and rejected. So there's the high of that candle there. So we are actually rejecting at the minute. So potentially we're looking at an accumulation drop, pullback drop on the Aussie dollar. So I've got the Aussie dollar Swiss short on, as I say. So if the Aussie dollar does continue to drop today, the Aussie dollar Swiss is going to go into profit and my euro odd will go into drawdown. So I'm hedged on the Aussie dollar at the minute. Aussie dollar CAD, nice potential push to the downside going on there. Didn't quite get extended enough for me. I'm not really interested in the 32.68 extensions, or really 70.30. 70.30 is where I really start to look at it. 75.25 and 80s is where I'm interested in getting into things which are very extended. So Aussie dollar Swiss. So yeah, nice potential move as a pullback, but I'd probably be looking at that on the Aussie CAD. Aussie Swiss, little bit more extended on the 4 hour. Obviously this is where we got in short up there initially, and obviously the second position I've got is running at the moment. So if this continues down, I've got my target down here at these lows basically. I've got a feeling we are going to push lower than this. So the market structure on this is absolutely lovely. We're just making lower highs every time. We've put in nice lower lows for the last couple of pushes down. So there is potential for us to get down, obviously, anywhere sort of in this accumulation down here. This kind of support resistance area as well is potentially going to hold up. But I don't want to risk it too much, so I'm looking just for these lows, because there's a possibility that we may well go into a range, because we've held these highs very nicely, so we may well start to hold these lows now, and it could be here. This could be where we're holding the lows, where we are right now, where we've bounced from. We've got a lovely bullish engulfing on the 4 hour here. So you know, this could quite easily be a pullback long, which is why I've got a trailer on it. So if this pushes down, I will trail down with it, and then if it pushes back up again and we are going to use this as support, I'll obviously get out of that position. Then my euro trade will start to go into profit. So yeah, Aussie dollar Swiss, potential long there. We've had a lovely bullish engulfing. If you look, drop down to lower time frame, just had a reversal there on the hourly. 4 hour, we've just had one, which is again retesting at the moment. Aussie dollar yen. It's good buying coming in on the DAX at the minute. So this propulsion gap, kind of where I would expect us, if we're going to sort of push up into its last sort of resort. Aussie dollar yen, I say I'm not trading the yens at the minute. I did have a go on a Swiss yen yesterday and it kicked me in the butt. Like I say, I don't know which way the yens are going. Shouldn't have really traded it yesterday, but I thought, well, they all look like they're holding up well. The thing that swayed me on that is the fact that Bank of Japan said they're happy to devalue their yen further, which means obviously everything should be going up against the yen. So what did it do? All collapsed yesterday. So yeah, yen's a bit of a mystery. It's holding up at the moment. We've got this big strong push. We're nicely extended. We were nicely extended yesterday. Yeah, I'll be looking for a similar sort of thing down here to what we got there, but look at what we got as a pullback. We got a 50% move on that. So measure this, really anywhere up to there, up to the reversal support rectangle there, 125 ADR. That's really possibly all you're going to get before we get a new leg down, if we're going to get a new leg down. So we don't know, do we, with what's going on with the yen at the minute. So very difficult one to call at the moment. So not really trading that one. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Again, very nice extension to the downside. I don't really want to get in the way of the US dollar at the minute. It's on an absolute mission. Little bit of a pullback going on at the moment. But again, seems to be rejecting at present. It's more buying coming through on the DAX at the minute, all indices. So I'm looking at this level here, which is previous support resistance. So this held up nicely there. So I'm looking to see if we can get back up into this support rectangle, potentially for another little short there. But obviously the fact that we got no news until tomorrow, I think probably tomorrow is when they're going to start to move the US dollar. So today could well be just another, sort of that sort of day with all the US dollar pairs. Nicely extended, but I would rather see extensions to the upside to be shorting this rather than trying to buy it. US dollar strength, I think, is what we're going to get to continue. And we're obviously in a downtrend, as you can see at the moment, for weeks. So don't really want to be counter trending this, want to be trading with the trend on it. But good counter trend opportunity if you do want to take it is extended. We've got the CAD yen and the Swiss yen as well. Again, same thing with these guys. I'm not really interested. The yen is a mystery at the minute. The yen is, to me at the moment, is acting very much like the Swiss franc used to before the war. We got, flurries of activity on the Swissy, then it would go neutral, then it would have a flurry, then it would go neutral, then it would have a flurry, go neutral. The yen's doing the same thing at the moment. We're getting these pushes, nothing happening, then we get this slam, then just it's very, very erratic, and it's very hard to trade something that's erratic like that. But from an RSI perspective, when you've got these big strong moves, obviously every opportunity you can get move back in the opposite direction when it wants to go. We've got no news on the CAD coming up, so there's nothing to really manipulate the CAD. So we're reliant on whatever the yen wants to do, which is what we don't know. So it's an uptrend, obviously. Everything's an uptrend against the yen at the minute. We are potentially putting in a higher low now, but we have put in a lower high. So we're walking into a symmetrical triangle, which means we're just contracting, ready for the next explosive move one way or the other. I suspect it's going to be up. So this looks like a nice little long. And that's the reason I took this one yesterday, the Swiss yen. But obviously, as soon as I got into it, boom, we got that big spike down. And we've sat and we've stopped at the lows here. We just put a nice bullish engulfing in there. So obviously on the M15, you'd have just had a reversal alert on that. So nicely extended to the downside, the Swiss yen. So this looks like a lovely long again. It's not quite as extended as it was yesterday. It's a little bit more extended than it was yesterday. I was looking at these lows here. So yeah, technically now looks like the spot on time to take the trade. I took it yesterday and it failed. So it's difficult to know what this one's going to do. We've got the 72 coming up as support down at 125 ADR, and we've got this little accumulation here where we had that breakout. So we've got a propulsion gap here along with the 72. So if it does push down further, there's some very nice confluence of support potentially for a long. Where we are right now, if I just draw the level on, is that support there. So it looks like this may well be the low. If you look at what happened previously on the Swiss yen when we had a really nice level of support, it was beautiful. It held very, very nicely. Very, very similar thing is happening right now on the Swiss yen. So looks like a nice little long opportunity. I'm tempted to take this again, to be honest. I'm just going to look. Just want to draw in where that previous accumulation is. Let's use this one because it's already here. So somewhere down there potentially is where we could come down to, which is going to be a sort of 175 ADR. So if you took an initial position there, that's just over an ADR away for a second position. I might have gotten that again. I'm going to go on that again. So Swiss yen, having another go along on this, just because we are so nicely extended. It looked ripe yesterday. What I'm thinking is this area here. Yeah, so we obviously had that massive strong move. Yeah, then we stopped. This is where we stalled. We started to stall out, and the buyers were like, right, we've run out of steam here. Sellers started to get involved, but we held this level, and this is really holding nicely. We've tapped this 3 times now. We've knocked on the door 3 times. We haven't got through. So this looks like a very, very nice support. There is a good chance they'll come down and take this liquidity. Everybody that saw this drop yesterday and then double bottom is long, so there's liquidity sitting there. So it makes sense to come and take that liquidity and then potentially run with it. But this could just hold and rally. So we've got a fair old way to go to the upside. But targets initially on it, I would probably look. A bit difficult actually to call a target on this, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's a hard one to call a target on. I'd initially probably go there, which is just in the middle of this accumulation, and just see if we can get a move back up into there. Obviously, this could well go absolutely skyrocketing. So we'll see what happens with it. But I'm going to target up at the highs, and just keep an eye on what happens there. If we start to get a load of resistance and it looks bearish up there, then I'll just move this to break even. So Swiss yen, having another go on that one as a long. Euros, obviously we've got 3 euros, Euro odd, Euro CAD, Euro Swiss, Euro New Zealand as well. So basically everything New Zealand, everything Euro pretty much is extended to the upside, as we know. So we had this big strong push. 4-hour chart, obviously we are absolutely exhausted. So last time we got up here, obviously we had a lovely big 71.8 retracement on that move back down into support. This time we've got potential support sitting there. We've obviously got this sitting here as support as well. So I'm targeting basically, as you can see, just above this support. This is where I'm looking to get out of this one. I've got an additional position which I'm adding on here, so my average will actually jump up to there, which gives me a nice little profit. So Euro odd, got that one short already. Euro CAD, this is really nice looking resistance. Very nicely extended on the 4-hour. It's the highest we've been for a month. We've tapped straight into resistance, and we've put in a reversal up there. So lovely area for a reversal alert. M15, we got a reversal alert. As you can see, we just took that one there, straight off of this resistance. It's pushing up and retesting at the moment, but looks spot on. Looks absolutely lovely, EuroCAD for a short. We've got obviously no Canadian dollar coming up at all this week. Next week we've got CPI for the CAD. So if we do get a continuation push on this, and we break through this resistance from there, we've got basically loads and loads of little levels in here potentially where we can run into sellers. So all this selling pressure here, this little accumulation here, there's lots of levels, and we'll bear in mind obviously we're already massively extended. So if we get embedded up here and push, we're going to run into the 72. Worst case scenario, we're going to run into this level here, which is where we accumulated previously. So I don't think it's going to get, this is Euro we're talking about, I don't think it's going to have the legs to get up there unless something dramatic happens on the CAD, which again I can't see. I don't think we've got a problem. So nice looking short opportunity there. Target on this one, obviously the last time we butted into this resistance here, we had a nice big rejection. We tried again, we had a much bigger rejection. We're trying again now. There's nothing to stop the euro continuing its momentum to the downside. Obviously the danger is if we do break above here and put in a new higher high, market structure is potentially shifting back to the upside, in which case then I'd be looking for some kind of pullback on this move up here. So this level here would be where I'd be targeting. But right now, as you can see, I've got a TP down there. I've got TP scattered basically all the way down. But I think we're going to be coming down much lower on it. But we'll see what happens to market structure. As I say, this is a critical point. We need to see what happens here, whether or not we break through that level. If we break through that level, then obviously I may have to re-evaluate this and look for a smaller target on it. So that's Euro CAD. Euro Swiss, same thing, massively extended. Euro Swiss is in a big downtrend. It's got really messy recently. Obviously the war kicked in and dumped, and then we had that V-shaped recovery on it. Then it decided to drop again, push up, looked like it was going short again. Now we've pushed up into the highs. It's just a mess, utter mess. So we're back up in this accumulation, this area of balance. We are happy to sit in that for a good couple of months. We're back up at the highs of this again. So it looks to me like it would want to come down either into one of these levels. So nice selling coming in on the DAX at the minute. So this high, which is where I've got this resistance, this is what I was looking for a bounce short on. We got that move and then it retracted immediately within a couple of hours and then slammed straight through. So these levels are what you want to be watching for if you're going to take a short. It's not really counter trend because it's not really got a trend at the minute. It's just a mess. So it's not a range, it's just a mess. It's one of those pairs you look at and go, it's not trending, it's not ranging, it's just going wherever the hell it likes. Last time we got extended, it dropped. We got extended down there, it pumped. We got extended now. Got every chance of this dropping, haven't you? So obviously the difficulty with this one is these guys are moving fairly in tandem at the minute. And there's no power in the Swissy, so it's just a case of waiting for the next move to start. This is just being manipulated up and down, but we are very extended, therefore we should be looking for shorts at the moment on that one. And Euro New Zealand, Euro Pound I'm not interested in at the minute. This is again another utter mess. We got extended, we dropped, we've pushed back up again. There's so many places around support resistance wise, it's impossible to pick a level on this, and it's just an utter chaotic mess at the minute. No idea where this is going, so not interested in it. Euro yen longs, again, mess. I'd be long bias on the euro. It's holding the 24 nicely, but it's gone nowhere for an entire week. I mean, if you got into this reversal alert on the 4 hour thinking we're getting a 24 bounce with RSI being nicely extended, you've literally been sitting there for a week and you're still sitting there waiting for something to happen. So yeah, not good. Euro New Zealand, massively extended on the 4 hour. Just had a lovely reversal alert on this one. Again, same as Euro odd. Pick one or the other, not both. Euro New Zealand, Euro odd, pretty much the same thing. So cover the Euro odd, Euro New Zealand, same. Looking for a drop, nicely extended on the RSI. Worst case scenario, you should just get a pullback on the previous move. Somewhere around there. Pound odd. So the pound odd obviously has hit ADR. This one obviously, ADR, RSI high. This one pushing down very, very nicely. This is the same as the Euro odd. Oops. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, pound odd. Did we just look at the pound odd? We did, didn't we? For some other reason. Why did we look at the pound odd? Oh yeah, I was going to say this looks familiar. That's the one that's hit its weekly range. So yeah, pound odd hit its weekly range. I was going to say I had deja vu then. I've just drawn this. I must have been looking at another pair. Bit of buying coming through on the DAX in a minute. Can't make its mind up today. We're stuck in the opening range break. We just managed to get an opening range breakout to the low, and we're pulling all the way back. We have put in a new lower high. We haven't managed to put in a new lower low. So real indecision at the minute. Nothing going on the DAX or the other indices. The other indices are all doing the same. They've been just accumulating for an hour. So the pound odd, I've already covered this one this morning. Nice short opportunity up at the highs. So yeah, you just had the reversal alert this morning up there. Pound New Zealand, no, right, so this is the same pretty much as the pound odd usually, except the pound New Zealand, we've, instead of on the pound odd, we've got descending highs. Pound New Zealand, we've got ascending highs, but we've got an expanding wedge. So very hard pattern to trade. It's difficult because what will happen is when you spot an expanding wedge like this, what you tend to find is by the time you've spotted the expanding wedge, what tends to happen is market structure will suddenly start to kick in. So you get a low, a high, and then you get a higher low and a higher high. So we've just pushed up above those highs at the moment. I would expect to pull back into here somewhere and then potentially move to the upside. But this being the pound, and me being bearish on the pound, it's a very difficult one to sort of trade at present. No reason why we should be expecting a big strong move on the New Zealand dollar. So the fact that it's extended at the moment up there, I would be looking for short opportunities on it, which we have just had a reversal at, again, the same as the Aussie on M15. So spot on time to get into this one. Target wise on it, anywhere in here, it's just impossible to pick a target. We've got a nice propulsion gap there. Dax, what are you doing? Sorry, I'm just watching Dax on the other chart. We've also got obviously the support rectangle, so I wouldn't get greedy on this one. It's very difficult to call where it's going at the moment because obviously it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. So I would look for shorts if you're not already in it. Good time to get into it now, or just wait for this to push up into maybe these propulsions up here, and then if you get a break back down again, or you get the retest, getting short when we break these lows. Hold it for as long as you can, really, or you can do that one. New Zealand dollar yen, again, not interested in the yens. The New Zealand dollar yen is just the same as the rest. It's a bit weaker, obviously, as you can see. We have pushed down into the 72, and we are looking like we want to reject this level. But I can't figure out what's going on with the yen. The New Zealand dollar is obviously weaker than the rest, which is why we've had this strong push down. There's very few levels until you get down to sort of here, really, to stop it. This is a lovely smooth incline, so I would expect it to continue on that way, but I'm expecting no yen strength. Therefore we need some New Zealand dollar strength to give this one a kick. Unlike the Aussie dollar, the New Zealand dollar has been much weaker. And obviously the Aussie's got loads of room to come back down to support, whereas the New Zealand dollar's obviously crushed that already. So again, another hard one, not really interested in it at the minute. Got very nicely extended. We've had a lovely bullish engulfing. So yeah, we're pulling back at the minute. So if you want to take a long on it, looks good. But it's the weaker of the lot against the yen at the minute. So it's probably not the best one to trade against the yen. Something like the Swissy, the one I've just taken, is probably much stronger. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, everything weak against the US dollar at the minute. Looking for opportunities to pull back on this. So I wouldn't want to be taking this long, really. You're going to get up to here, likely, before you're going to hit some resistance. So if you want to take it on a short term, there is room to the upside. But I'd be much more inclined in looking for short opportunities in this accumulation. US dollar CAD. Again, massively extended to the upside, looking for longs. So I'll be watching pullbacks for long opportunities on that one. Nicely extended, but look what happened last time we got extended. We just did that. Yeah, I'm getting embedded. US dollar strong at the minute. We don't want to be getting in the way of it, I don't think, at the moment. DAX. Right, so we got the 71 bounce. Potentially. So we've putting in a new lower high at the moment on this 5-minute candle. We've still got a minute left. Need to see this break these lows really to give me any conviction that we're going short, but that is also, if we do that, painting a beautiful flag for a long break. Very, very, very difficult this morning, the DAX. Daily says I want to go long. Intraday says we've got a gap to fill. It's a real real conflict of interest today. I'm just going to keep my short bias. It's either going to work or it's not. It's not moving anywhere today, so there's very little opportunity to trade it and make money anyway. So I'm just going to hold the short bias and hope that drops. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? Or anything else they want to see? I'll quickly cover the US indices for this afternoon. Same thing basically on all the US indices. 3 down days, looking for a pullback. We've done the pullback already in the Globex session. We will get some movement in New York, obviously, but what are we going to do distance-wise? I mean, it's already put in a fairly decent move today, hasn't it? And again, same thing with the indices. 3 down days, we get the odd collapse. Obviously, bear in mind we're in a bear market, so there is a possibility of getting more than 3 down days, but typically 2 or 3 down days we usually get a pullback. So we're due today our pullback. How big the pullback will be, I don't know. And obviously there is the opportunity for it to do something crazy. We've had weeks like that before. So the US indices, again, still quite difficult. Market structure is still bearish. We're still getting that move down at the moment. But every move down needs a pullback. So be looking for pullbacks back up into this area somewhere. To find resistance to drop down. Whether it can do this in one day, which would be an ADR push to the upside on all the indices, don't know. Which explains why it's oscillating around the opening range. Diamond just said, yeah, the market's just confused. Well, not confused, it's just we're at equilibrium. Obviously the market's driven by buyers and sellers. Stocks are cheap, people want to buy them. Market's in a bear, people want to sell. So you get these balance days, rotations they call them, where you literally just sit in some range, and at the moment we're getting a range on the DAX at the open. So that may be what we do today. Very hard. Dow. We've got the support holding on the Dow at the minute. Dow's a little bit out of whack with everything else. So again, push back up. Very hard at the minute, these the indices. We're at critical points in them. DAX, we've obviously got a long way to drop yet to come and retest these lows. So somewhere around here, we'd be looking for a move down to there at some point, but how long it's going to take to get there, nobody knows. Gold, what happened with gold yesterday? Big down day on gold again yesterday. Again, retesting these lows, already bounced. Nice little 3-bar reversal there. Long opportunities on gold with a bit of a weak US dollar. Helping gold out at the moment, but gold, as I say, can't trade gold. It's just too erratic. Somewhere in there and then drop. But equally, depends what happens with the war, doesn't it? War's gone very, very quiet. There's so little news. I was looking at Financial Juice and did a flick back on it yesterday and the day before, looking for news on Russia. You get the odd little bit come out, but it's very intermittent now. We had that period of weeks where literally Putin and the other leaders were flipping it basically every time they opened their mouth. That seems to have completely stopped. We've gone back to quite a lot of normality, which is why I'm getting a little bit more into position trading, because it's starting to look a little bit more normal. But every little snippet we get is not really having an impact. I was expecting a much bigger move on the indices based on Putin yesterday, because obviously it was the victory parade in Russia yesterday, and Putin was doing a big speech. The only news we had coming out of that yesterday was the fact that they'd taken out a US-made rocket launcher in Ukraine. That was it. So words were chosen very carefully yesterday, didn't upset anything. So it's gone very, very, very quiet on the news front, which is good, because it kind of hints at the fact that we might be returning a little bit back to normality, and sort of more risk-on approach in the market, which means we should start to see much more of the structure, the sell cycle, the buy cycle, profit taking, sell cycle, buy cycle, profit taking, this sort of movement coming in, which is how to make money basically. When we can see when there's too many sellers, they need to buy to get out of their positions, that's when we pounce. So it's starting to look a little bit more like it, but what I would just want to see it happening more, to give me the confidence to get back into it properly. And at the moment it's not quite there, but it's getting there. So these euros, for example, if I start seeing these euros actually playing out properly as I'm expecting them to do, that gives me a lot more confidence. But at the moment, the euro is looking fairly strong, and I don't know why. There's nothing good going on in Eurozone. So again, stuff's still quite odd. Market movement is still a bit odd at the minute, but it's getting there. I think it's getting there. I really want to see this undone on the euro. I'd like to see us get back up into this area somewhere, and find some resistance somewhere up there. That to me would say, yeah, this is looking like it's getting back to normal again. And I'd like to see the yen start to move properly. It's not. So all the safe havens, all the usual stuff we see happening in the market is just not quite happening again at the moment. So it's all still a bit weird. So that's it for this morning. That's all I've got. There's plenty of opportunities out there. As I say, Aussie dollar Swiss, I'm still riding short. Oops. That's rejected quite nicely out of that accumulation. So what I'd like to see is this get down to target, and the euro odd stall, because when we get down to target on the Aussie dollar Swiss, we'll probably start to power up, and that will then come down. So I'm just looking for this to kind of accumulate a little bit up here, and then drop, which would be lovely. So watching these highs, euro CAD, as I say, I'm holding short. I've got some stops up there on a couple of these positions. If we break these highs, I will take a little bit of loss on those. That's all I've got on euro odd at the moment. Euro odd, euro CAD, and the Aussie Swiss. And as I say, I'm just trying to get some money out of this stupid DAX this morning. But it's looking good. Market structure's holding. We just need to get down below these lows. If we get down below these lows, I'm pretty confident we'll get that gap fill today. In fact, what I'm going to do is put another sell stop under that low and add another position when we break these lows, because I think if we break these lows, decisions made for the morning, I think, and there's no reason why they won't come and target that. Just going to see actually if we've got gaps on the others. No. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for this morning. Plenty of opportunities out there. Lots of very nicely extended RSIs, which will get us into some decent decent reversals and pullbacks, hopefully. I'll be back tomorrow morning at same time at 7:50. Again, just be aware of this evening. I don't think it's going to move the market particularly. Where are they speaking? The Economic Club in Minnesota. Monetary Policy Financial Markets Conference in Florida. Yeah, I don't think they'll come out and say anything, especially after the FOMC that we've just had. So I think we'd be safe on those two. So yeah, looking tomorrow for US dollar CPI. That's the only real moving event we have. We are starting to sell off there a little bit now. So good movement on the DAX. So hopefully I can get this banked this morning. This will be a good couple of percent, 2 or 3%. If I can get this in, it's a lot of resistance at the minute. But I don't think there's any other opportunities for the indices this morning. They're all just accumulating. So they're either going to go for it or they're not. If they don't, probably be sitting there at lunchtime, still either slightly in drawdown or slightly in profit. But we'll see what happens. Okay, guys, anything else you need, come into the Telegram group. I will be in there as usual. And be back tomorrow. We'll have another look at what's going on. If there's any trades I'm seeing that I fancy, I will post in the Telegram group. I'll have update on obviously what I'm doing with my current positions as well. That Swiss yen that I've got into as well this morning, I forgot that buy. We'll obviously keep an eye on that one. Second position on this, I didn't cover, did I? Just quickly before I go. So where this blue area is basically. So second position on this is going to be somewhere down here. I'll just stick a little pending down. How far is that? That's an ADR. So I'm going to stick it at the highs, just above that high there. So looking for a pullback into this area here. That would be my second entry on that one. We're very extended, so basically we're looking for, if that does push down, that's what we will get, which will be obviously a nice potential W reversal at the 72. Second position long, if it pushes down there. But I think we've got a good chance of this holding. But that's what I said yesterday. You never know. Right, okay guys, I'll let you go. Anything else you need, come in the Telegram group. Otherwise, have a good day. Hopefully it's profitable, and I will see you tomorrow morning.